Yes. So friends, imagine that you are being introduced by your friend. तुमची ओळख कोणीतरी करून देत आहे कोणाबरोबर तरी थर्ड पर्सन बरोबर तुमचा मित्र तुमची मैत्रीण कुठल्या नव्या व्यक्तीबरोबर तुमचा परिचय करून देते पण तो परिचय करूनच दिला नाही किंवा नीट करून दिला नाही तर तुम्हाला कसं वाटेल यू विल फील डेफिनेटली नेग्लेक्टेड राइट आपका परिचय किसी ने करवाया ही नहीं किसी थर्ड पर्सन को अगर आप साथ में जा रहे हो कहीं पे और आप किसी अजनबी को मिलते हो और आपका परिचय किसी ने करवाया ही नहीं है ठीक से नहीं करवाया आपको बुरा लगेगा राइट सेम गोज विथ योर राइटिंग स्किल्स सो when you are presenting a piece of writing you have to introduce that topic well okay you can't just dive into the main topic you have to first introduce you have to kind of connect with your audience first so we are going to learn the art of introduction and how to conclude how to end how to summarize your topic that also we are going to learn in today's class fine so let us get started just give me a moment so yes are you able to see my screen can somebody tell me it's introduction main body conclusion this is again a screen somebody can say yes through the chat box okay yes thank you so understand one thing whether you are writing an answer that could be an ordinary answer that could be a descriptive answer for your degree level exam that could be your any essay that could be discursive essay personal essay that could be your presentation any kind of writing you're presenting my dear friends please make sure that you divide your writing into at least 3 parts okay there has to be an introduction to it there has to be a main body to your writing and there has to be conclusion into it if it is not there and you simply write it from A and this is a whole long paragraph and you end at Z here, nobody will read that. Nobody will make an attempt to even read that. Your examiner, your own teacher, whom you know very well. So it's very important that you present and structure your information and it should be visibly well presented. Okay. So let us see how we can write powerful introductions and how we can write effective conclusions. That is the aim of this session. Okay, so let us go ahead. So as you know that it is said that well begun is half done. If you begin your writing well, if you begin with a powerful introduction, you have already won the hearts of your readers. So let us see how we introduce topic. We will discuss few examples and we'll basically understand what is introduction. Okay. So basically it's a first paragraph of your writing. It's the first thing you do when you write something, you write introduction. And what is written in introduction? You talk about topic, you talk about aim or purpose. Like I am giving you introduction now. I just gave introduction for this session in a few seconds ago. What we are going to do in this session, that was introduction. I told you aims and purpose. I've shared aims and purposes of this session. That was what? That was introduction, right? So how to write an introduction? There would be n number of ways you can write introduction. Okay. There are lots of ways through which you write introduction. How to write. We are going to see that. Let's pay attention. Now, basically, you have to write your introduction in your own words. Don't copy the text from your main body. Your introduction should be your own words. Let us simplify those words. Introduce the topic, what you're going to talk about, what you're going to write for that topic. Let's say in this session, my dear students, I am going to throw light upon tips and tricks to write powerful introductions and effective conclusion. In one line, I told you what we are going to do. So this is an introduction of our session, right? So you tell what topic you are going to talk about, you are going to write, and you can state some facts about it, or you can simply state aims and objectives, that in this session we aim to do this, in this session we aim to learn some techniques of introduction, of conclusion. Right? Write in your own words and briefly write how you plan to do it. Like in this session, we are going to discuss two examples on introduction and two examples on conclusion. And then we will discuss a few exercises and we will learn step by step how to write. We will read one example. What I am doing, I am sharing plan with you. Similarly, when a writer writes something, okay, the writer needs to give a brief plan, and that brief plan is included in introduction, one line, that I am going to throw light upon these key points, these key areas in my writing, in my further writing, in course of writing. So this is what is called as giving a plan to develop your writing. So your readers get a clear idea. Oh, this is what I'm going to read ahead. Your reader get a clear and brief idea about what he or she is going to read through your essay, through your research paper, through your answer, whatever. You use words that grab attention of the reader. Use interesting words. It's going to be an interesting session. I'm going to share some wonderful facts with you all, and I am going to share information that would be very useful for you in the future. Something of this sort that will grab attention of the reader. वाचणारे जे कोणी आहेत, वाचक जे कोणी आहेत, जो पढ़ने वाले हैं, वो क्यों पढ़ेंगे? You need to attract them. Okay, you need to generate interest in them. And then when you are writing all this, it's very assumed now that you will be writing this in a rough draft. You will write this on a rough page. Okay, review the whole thing while you write it and then make it fair. Put it as a fair draft, final draft. First review it, proofread it, check your grammar, check your sentence construction. Okay, so understand one thing, friends. You can give introduction to your graph, you can give introduction to a pie chart, you can give introduction to a table, for a tree diagram. If you are writing a speech, you will give introduction for a speech also. So there are different types and genres of writing, kinds of writing. Okay, so you should be able to give different type of introduction. Let's say you are writing a speech. You remember we had written speech in our creative writing. शाळेमध्ये होतो तेव्हा आपण स्पीच बद्दल लिहायचो. स्कूल में थे तभी हम लोग लिखा करते थे, स्पीच लिखते थे एग्जाम में एज एन एसे. Expansion of idea, writing skills. Do you remember? So in that, you must have written introduction. If you didn't write, pay attention now, because this art is going to help you throughout your life. These are ways. See, these bullets are ways to write an introduction for a speech. You can start your speech by mentioning a quote. Quote is a line. Quote is a line. Quote is a sentence. It's a line given by famous personalities, or it's a thought stated by successful people or famous people in the world. Okay, so maybe if you are writing something about doing something with discipline consistently, keep on practicing, so you can use this is a quote. Okay, practice makes man perfect. Very well said that, or how true it is. Start with a quote. Write your speech with a quote. This is one of the ways. I'm not saying this is the only way. This is one of the ways. Create an imaginary scenario. Now, what is imaginary scenario? Scenario means scene. Imagine. Okay? Imagine you wake up one day without no electric devices around you. How would you feel? How would that feel? Now, if you are writing an essay, if you are writing an article on, you could say, effect of electronic devices on human life. This is your topic. Instead of just saying electronic devices have bad effect on human life, this sounds a little bit boring, right? How will you introduce it otherwise? Create an imaginary situation. Now, then the readers will really feel like reading it. दे विल जनरेट दॅट इंटरेस्ट. जे वाचक असतील ना त्यांना खरंच वाटेल, ओ एक दिवस असं झालं तर काय होईल बरं. मोबाईल नाही, FM नाही, रेडिओ नाही, वायफाय नाही, कुठलेच इलेक्ट्रॉनिक डिव्हाइसेस आजूबाजूला नाही आहेत. अँड यू वेक अप लाईक दॅट. You are actually taking your readers into that imaginary world, you know that. So start with some kind of an imaginary situation and your reader will then read ahead. Oh wow, if this happens, oh my god, what if this happens, this will be a good or a bad reaction, but in any case your reader will be interested to read ahead. Okay, you're getting what I'm saying? Sabko samajh mein aa raha hai. So this is a second way. See, it's not compulsory, these are my suggestions. Now, next, asking a question that has an answer either yes or no. Now, you can even introduce a speech. Now we are talking about writing a speech. You can even introduce a speech by asking a question. And that question has an answer yes or no. त्याचं उत्तर हो किंवा नाही मध्ये. उसका आंसर एक तो हाँ में है या ना में है, जो जरूरी नहीं देना चाहिए. So let's say you're talking about the same topic, dependency of human life, dependency on electronic gadgets. So let's say we start with this line. Question. We all are surrounded by gadgets and machines. Have we grown so much dependent on machines? Oh my God. So your listeners are actually, your readers are actually thinking, oh really, are we really growing dependent? They start thinking. So when you ask a question in your introduction, listen to me carefully, friends. Secondly, need laksha hai, sab log dhyan do. When you ask a question while introducing a topic, you are making your readers think seriously. And when they start thinking seriously, they want to know what next, what next, what next. Okay, so you ask a thought provoking question जे त्यांना विचार मंथन त्यांचं विचार मंथन करायला भाग पाडतील असे प्रश्न, thought provoking questions. So you can even ask them a question. The readers will be asked question in an introduction. This can be one of the ways. Okay, not every time, this can be one of the ways. अनेक मार्गांपैकी एक प्रकार असू शकतो इंट्रोडक्शनचा. Or presenting statistics. You study and study about scientists, the scientists who have studied about it, the researchers who have studied about it, and they have come up with some conclusion. They have done some research on that topic that you are presenting. So when you present statistics, your reader feels, oh, जो कह रहा है ये सही बात है, इसमें दम है, because scientists have also proven it. The person has given statistics. So when you put forth statistics in numbers, your readers believe you. They start believing in you. Okay, let's take an example. In your speech, if you're writing a speech, you can even write a statistic. If it is about women, okay, work life and women, then you can even say a recent analysis on female work preferences says about 68% of women choose to work from home. Now readers really start thinking, oh, does my wife prefer working from home? Yes, she does. Does my sister? Yes. If that person reader is a girl herself, woman or a lady herself, she would say, so true, I'm working from home. So they start believing in your writing. They start connecting their life with your writing, because that is proven by statistics. When you prove your thought with the help of statistic, it gets evidence. It is backed by evidence. Okay, these are the ways. Okay, how you can introduce: by giving a quote, by stating a proverb or a saying by famous person, or you create an imaginary situation. Surya ugolas nahi, I संपावर गेली तर, like that. You remember we have written such subjects in such topics in when we were in school, right? Similarly, these are imaginary scenarios, but still they are very interesting. You can even present such kind of scenarios in your introduction. Third way, ask a question that has answer yes or no, very effective. Fourth way, present the statistics. These are the ways you introduce a speech. while writing speech. Okay, friends, that's very, very effective. Try this. Okay, yes. Now, how you will write a speech? Let's say you are writing, let's practice some examples. Okay, let's do some examples. Kuch examples abhi hum log practice karenge. Let's say there is a topic, women empowerment. Okay, women empowerment. Now, on this particular topic, if you have to write an introduction, how you will write an introduction? If you are writing a speech, if you are reading a speech in a book, how you will do it? Okay, always remember, you should wish your readers, you should connect your readers by saying greetings. Now, you need not say hello, good evening, good morning, because you are writing it there, and that could be any time, any point of time your reader will read it. You could just say greetings, or you could just convey your regards to your readers. So, this is one of the ways you could write. This is a very common way. Greetings to all my readers. I am ABC. You write your name here, and I would like to share my thoughts on the topic women empowerment. This is a traditional way. You know what? The most effective one I felt was this. So I have presented both of them, but I would suggest that you go with this. This is also correct. A is also correct. Okay, friends? But let's check B. Have you ever thought why the decision makers are men and why are women neglected in all walks of life in our society? I feel honored to share my views on this topic, women empowerment. Now you have asked a question. Okay, women empowerment means giving power to women, giving right to women in the society, giving them privileges. So this is what is happening today also. Okay, that all the important decisions are taken by men and women are neglected in everywhere, all walks of life. Have you ever thought why it happens? So when you start an introduction with a question, it leaves it that thought keeps hovering in the mind of reader. Why? Even I think why many a times. Okay, then your reader starts thinking, and when he or she starts thinking and wondering, he or she becomes more interested in your writing. And then you start, I feel honored to share my views on this topic today, women empowerment. Okay, any which ways you can introduce the topic. There is no fixed formula. Okay, there is one more way. Let's say there is this topic. Friends, this is one more example. Okay, I am putting forth one more example in front of you. Pay attention. Significance of art in life. Significance means importance, mahatva. Significance of art in life. Why is art important in life? This is a topic for speech. So now this is not a foolproof way. You can write it in another way also. This is just a sample. Okay. Science and technology have helped the world make many advances. The arts, such as painting, theater, and dance, to name just three examples, however, are also valuable. What things do the arts provide to the world that science and technology do not? So, science and technology definitely have made the world better and the best. Okay, but the world has become a beautiful place because of arts such as theater, dance, and painting. Okay, so the writer of this topic is trying to say that just like science and technology is important, art such as painting, theater, and dance is also important. Okay, so the writer wants the reader to think seriously. What are the things do you think arts give us that science and technology cannot provide us? कलेमध्ये अशी कुठली गोष्ट आहे जी आपल्याला विज्ञान किंवा तंत्रज्ञानातून नाही मिळत, तंत्रज्ञान विज्ञानाच्या अभ्यासामुळे अध्ययनामुळे ती नाही मिळत, जी कलेमुळे मिळते. कला का अध्ययन करने से, कला की उपासना करने से आपको ऐसी कौन सी चीजें मिलती हैं? When the writer throws this question right into the mind of the reader actually start thinking. And automatically this topic, the core of this topic is imbibed in the mind of the reader. म्हणूनच कला महत्वाची आहे, कारण कला अशा काही गोष्टी देते जे विज्ञान तंत्रज्ञान नाही देऊ शकत. Okay? Yes? So again, we have used this art of throwing question. If you remember, in the previous slide, we have learned that you can ask question in introduction. We have asked question in introduction, right? Then you write, I would like to take this opportunity to share some insights on this topic, significance of art in life. Then you introduce your topic, that this is my topic and I am going to share my thoughts on it. This is another example of introducing your speech. Okay. Is this useful? In the chat box, yes, say yes or no. Is this useful? Do you think if you receive this PPT and if you follow some guidelines, it's going to help you? Can you say yes or no? Class, are you there, my dear friends? I would like to know from you. Yes or no? Okay. Okay. Sounds good. Sounds good. So, a quick review of what we have learned in introduction. First of all, you can give a quote. You can write about famous sayings or proverbs or idiom ज्याला म्हण म्हणतात किंवा थोर पुरुषांनी लिहून ठेवलेले विचार, quotes. Okay? Or you can create an imaginary scenario, or you can straight away ask a question that has answer yes or no. That question becomes very effective. Or you present statistics. Researchers say a recent research shows, a recent research analysis states that, okay, because this also has a lot of impact. So you can pick anyone. It's not that you have to pick all four of them in your introduction. Okay. And these are the real life examples. Real examples I have given you, that you wish your readers greetings, or you simply throw a question, or else you can simply talk about facts that yes, we know science and technology have really made our life better, but then art also is important. So what do you think? What's the difference between art and science and technology? What art gives, the things that art has offered us, the kind of happiness we get through art, and something that we don't easily get through science and technology. What are those things? What are those aspects? So you are leaving that reader goes into thinking mode, and out of that thinking, reader says, yes, this is interesting, this is getting interesting, I have to read ahead, like that. Okay. So, and then you can introduce yourself. After you throw a question, then you can introduce yourself. I take this opportunity to share my thoughts, to share some insights, okay, in course of giving details. And you can even give the course of details, like I will be discussing aims and objectives. I will be discussing the process in course of writing this particular chapter. Just like you read a chapter, before that the writer states aims and objectives clearly. In this chapter, I am throwing light upon this. In my aims and objectives behind this writing this chapter is so and so, so and so, like that. Okay. Yes. How to write powerful conclusions. Okay. What do you mean by the word conclusion? What is the meaning of conclusion? Can anybody tell me? Type this in the chat box, all of you. Conclusion म्हणजे काय? What is the meaning of conclusion? Think about it. Can you just tell me in simple language? It is okay if it goes wrong. I'm not going to tell you why it is wrong in this and that. What is the meaning of conclusion? Can anybody tell me? Yes, class? Yes, my dear friends, anybody? We have so many students here, Rama Devi, Kavya, and then we have Deepika, So many students are here, right? Come on. What's the meaning of conclusion? Okay, I have some answers. Final step. Yes, you could say final. You could say final step, or you could say the bottom line. You could say the central idea. Yes, yes. End of the topic. Yes, Ramadevi. Correct. You are ending it. When you are writing a conclusion, you are ending. You are ending your work in a proper way when you are writing it. Correct. So, what is conclusion? Basically, it's a closure. Closure, closing. You are closing the topic. Okay, it's a closure for the reader and it restates the main ideas. So, whatever we have learned, like just like listen, whenever you have a class, whenever you have a lecture, your professor by the end of the class, your professor reiterates what you have learned in that class, right? So, students, in this class today, we have learned ABC, we have learned process, we have learned effects. So, in the next class, we are going to learn advantages and disadvantages, merits and demerits in continuation with this topic. So, what is it? Your professor has concluded in a nutshell, in one or two lines, what did we all do together? What kind of activity we did? What was a core of this particular session? What was a bottom line? What was the central idea of it? Okay? Yes? So, ज्याला आपण आउटकम म्हणतो, ज्याला साध्या भाषेत in layman's language we call it result. Okay? सगळ्याचा परिपाक ज्याला म्हणणं किंवा सगळ्याचं थोडक्यात एखादी गोष्ट समजावून सांगणं ज्याला म्हणायचं कन्क्लुजन. So how do you end a particular thing? Okay, how do you end it properly? How do you summarize it properly? That is conclusion. So whenever you are writing an essay, you are writing an answer. Friends, this is for each and every writing skill you follow. Don't think that you have to be a novelist or a writer or a researcher who will write books and present paper. Then only you will have to use it. No, as a student, when you take your exam, when you take your test, you will have to use this and see the results if you use this technique for writing a simple answer. Let's say there is an answer of 3 marks, there's an answer of 4 marks, there's an answer of 8 marks or 10 marks. Follow writing an introduction, then you write your main answer, and then the last line conclusion, last paragraph 2-3 lines or 2 lines conclusion. See, it gives a different look to your answer and your examiner will also feel good checking it. Okay, so this goes for all types of writing, not just for writing summaries, writing conclusions, writing reports, not just for writing an essay. This goes for writing any answer, any descriptive answer, and you write descriptive answers in your paper, right? So this will be followed. If you follow this sincerely, you are going to see your grades are going high. Okay, so conclusion, it provides closure, which means it ends the topic well, and it restates main ideas, arguments. Okay, restate means it repeats the main idea. सो आजच्या सेशन मध्ये आपण काय केलं, आपण हे शिकलो. आज हम लोगों ने क्या सीखा? आज हम लोगों ने प्रोसेस सीखी, हम लोगों ने इफेक्ट सीखे, हम लोगों ने प्रोसीजर सीखा. रीस्टेट्स द मेन आइडिया. ओके, it reiterates the central idea, reiterates, repeats, stresses importance upon. What is the central idea of today's session? Okay, if I have to give a central idea of this session, then I would say some tips and tricks to write effective introduction, powerful introduction, and effective conclusion. This is a central idea of my session number 2. थोडक्यात, in a nutshell, all in all, थोडक्यात काय आपण केलं या सेशन मध्ये? Tell this in 1 or 2 lines. Just like friends, just like you watch a movie and you tell what the movie is about to your best friend. अरे कैसा है मूवी? अच्छा है. काय पिक्चर कसा है? छान है. काय नेमकं काय स्टोरी अरे काय नाही असं असं होतं त्याच्यामध्ये असं सेंट्रल आयडिया यू गिव्ह द सेंट्रल आयडिया राईट conclusion is a platform that gives good look and that ends your writing properly and that gives central idea of the whole writing in a nutshell. Okay, nutshell means थोडक्यात. Okay, powerful conclusions suggest possible research and studies that take place in course of time. So ideally good conclusions say that okay, after this we are going to do that. um, in this particular research paper, in this particular session, we have learned powerful introductions and effective conclusions. In the adjoining session, we are going to discuss them in detail. In the next session, we are going to continue and we are going to discuss examples of some interesting introductions and interesting conclusions. So you give a kind of an assurance to your readers that look, I have something interesting, yet something interesting for you in the next session, in the next writing, next piece of writing. So it's a kind of a promise given by the writer to the reader. अभी तो मैं conclude कर रहा हूँ लेकिन आगे आप ये पढ़ना पढ़ना भूलना मत. Just like do you watch YouTube channel? How many of you watch YouTube and internet videos? So whenever they are concluding, they say that, okay, don't forget to watch my next video. Don't forget to keep connected. Check my latest broadcast, or I'm going live tomorrow. Or don't forget to watch my next video in continuation to this, right? So the listener, the viewer is getting interested. Oh, what next? I would watch that also. Similarly, a conclusion should be such that it will suggest possible research and further study that will take place in continuation to that topic. Okay, so that the reader is informed and the reader can keep a check when the writer publishes his next work. Okay, so let us interpret this line graph. This is a line graph. Okay, tell me, come on, I'm asking you questions. Please put your answers in the chat box, all of you. Tell me what this line graph is about. Is it about crops? Is it about medicines? Is it about population? Is it about sale? What is it about? Tell me. Okay, it's about population. Yes, Kavyashri. Now tell me, it talks about population of which countries? Which countries? Names of countries? Names of countries? India and China. Yes, good. Now, what is the span of years that has been given? The study, the duration of study of years in years, duration of study in years. What's the range of period that is given here? Very good, Ramadevi. 50 years, 2000 to 2050. Yes. So population of India, right from 2000 to 2050, and population of China in the same time period. Very good, Satish. Very good, Ramadevi. So we are making a comparative study. Okay, we are making a comparative study that in this particular year, what was the population of India in 2000? The population of India is dark blue. You could say this is like purple color, and this is lavender color. China is lavender color. So what was the population of India? The population of India in 2000 was 1 billion. What was the population of China in 2000? Can anybody type in the chat box? What was the population of China? Can you type this in the chat box? See, this is a figure somewhere in between. So you could say 1.25, 1.30, 1.50, something of that sort. You could just take a rough figure. You could just say 1.250 or 1.25, something of that sort. Yes, 1.25. Correct, Kavishri. So 1.25. This is a figure somewhere over here. So 1.25 billions. This was a population of China in the year 2000. Okay. So whose population was greater? Which country had maximum population in 2000? Of course, China. Very good. So this way we will make a comparative study for each and every year. But these are the years that have happened already. And this is a prediction. This is a prediction. This is a prediction given by statisticians. Okay. That in 2030, India and China will reach the same amount of the same volume of population. Okay, their population would be almost same. It's predicted because 2030 is not yet arrived, right? So people who study population, statisticians, they have predicted, they have anticipated that India and China will meet same population. The population will be similar, okay, which will be around 1.4 billions. Okay, then China's population is going to decrease. Okay, in span of these 20 years, statisticians have predicted China's population is going to decrease, whereas India is going to, yes, you could say that that particular point, this is equal. Population will be equal or similar. And after 2030 to 2050, India will have more and more population, and India's population is going to increase. It will go up to 1.6 billion by 2050. Okay, so let us see how to interpret this data and how to conclude this data. Okay, now I want you to take a look at this. Don't read it word to word, don't read it in detail, just tell me something is missing. There is introduction, there is main body, this is interpretation of the given graph, line graph. What is missing? Tell me what is missing. Friends, tell me what is missing in this particular presentation, in this particular paragraph. What is missing? I told you that there are three ways, there are three paragraphs, identically three paragraphs. Title is given, Rama Devi, title is given. There is one thing that is missing. Just check the question mark. Over there, something is missing. Title is given. Can you see the slide? What do you think is missing in the given presentation? I hope you can see this slide. Very good, Kavishri. Kavishri, very good. Rama Devi, well tried. Yes, conclusion is missing. You see introduction, the graph shows population, and then we are doing a comparative study right from the year 2000 to 2050. What would be the population in 2030 to 50? How the population is going to grow, comparative study. But then where is the conclusion? Conclusion is here. So what was missing? Conclusion was missing. So if you simply write introduction and main body, if you don't conclude, your reader will get confused. Is it done? Is it ended? I've not understood this. I think there is something incomplete. Your reader will get confused if there is no conclusion to your writing. So conclusion is equally important because you are going to set final impact on the mind of your readers when you are writing a conclusion. त्याच्यानंतर काही नसणार आहे. त्याच्यानंतर तुमचं स्पीच संपलेलं आहे. रायटिंग त्याच्यानंतर तुमचं रायटिंग संपलेलं आहे. तो तो खूप पावरफुल पाहिजे. उसके बाद आपकी कलम आप नीचे रख दोगे, है ना? तो वो ऐसा इफेक्टिव होना चाहिए कि वो जो आपका पढ़ने वाला जो कोई भी है, आपके टीचर है, प्रोफेसर है, your readers, they should keep thinking about that thing. Oh, this was wonderfully done. They should carry some important message. with that conclusion. Oh, in short, this is what I have learned today. That is the reason conclusion is very, very important. To conclude, the given graph shows statistical study of past and future trends of growth of population in two neighboring countries, India and China. It will rise drastically in next 20 to 30 years in India and remain stable in India. So this is very important. So population will be steady at a point, it will rise, it will be stable in China and it will increase in India. Okay. Now, some tips to write effective conclusions. Don't write new ideas in your conclusion. Okay, conclusion is not a place to write new ideas. You are just repeating. मग आज आपण काय शिकलो मुलांनो थोडक्यात आज हम लोगों ने क्या सीखा बच्चों? When your teacher tells you, teacher in short tells you in short whatever teacher taught you in one or two sentences. थोडक्यात. So it's just a repetition of the important points. No new ideas. Okay. Learn the art of paraphrasing. Paraphrasing means to represent the main idea in brief. थोडक्यात. Generally, paraphrasing is given for a poem. जेव्हा कविता असते कवितेचा मतितार्थ जेव्हा आपण लिहितो त्याला paraphrasing म्हणतात. But paraphrasing is done everywhere. If you have a report that has got lot of technical words in it, lot of terminologies related to the field or jargons, then you need a person who will simplify that particular report and write it in simple language, layman's language, write in short, so that the employees of the company will also understand what that report means. ह्याला म्हणायचं paraphrasing. इसे कहते हैं paraphrasing. When you are concluding the text, when you are writing last paragraph, when you are ending your writing, you should know the art of writing in short the whole thing that you have written for 2 pages, 3 pages, 10 pages, whatever. Okay, fine. That's called as art of paraphrasing. Writing in brief but never leaving any important details. Use different words, use different phrases that can leave impact on the mind of reader. Keep it short. Conclusion should be short and sweet. Just like ends of stories, you like happy ending and they lived happily ever after. So your conclusion also should be short and sweet. Okay. Yes. Conclusion abstract. Kavishri, I didn't understand what do you mean by abstract. I didn't get what do you mean to say by abstract. You can elaborate or you can unmute and talk to me. Never mind. Please talk to me, unmute and talk to me. So you may leave the audience pondering over a question too. Like you can, just like you can ask, you can pose a question when you're introducing, you can even throw a question while you're leaving. Okay. So if you are writing something on women empowerment and you want to say that I feel that we all should start valuing valuing women's contribution. Do you think so? Do you agree with me? What do you think? Generally, when you are concluding, you can even throw a question and keep them pondering, keep them thinking, leave them thinking. Okay? Do you agree? What do you say? Do you feel the same? Like this, and you can even end by posing that question. These are one of the ways. There are lots of ways, my dear friends. There are lots of ways to conclude. I have picked some of the ways because of time constraints. I picked up some of the easiest but effective ways for you to conclude. But when you are writing an answer, don't pose a question, okay? When you are writing answers for your degree papers and tests, don't pose a question. You can simply write a concluding paragraph. But when you are writing a speech, when you are writing an article, you may pose a question at the end of it. That will be very, very effective. So these are useful phrases. Friends, this is very, very important, okay? These are useful phrases you use to conclude. Finally, lastly, overall, therefore, in a nutshell, in general, in conclusion, to conclude, in summation, to sum up with. Okay? These are some phrases that you could use. You could use one of the phrases, not all of them. Okay, when you are concluding, you could use one of the phrases. थोड़क्यात. तो आज हम लोगों ने ये सीखा. So what is that word that connects such expressions in Hindi and Marathi? These are the words. You could pick anyone, okay? And you will begin with these words. Then put a comma and then write your conclusion. So let's take an example. Very interesting example, very simpler one. Look at this table. It talks about Ramayana and Mahabharata, two great epics of India. What type of epics they are, when they were written, who were the poets who wrote them, who are the heroes and main characters, and who are women, and where the war took place in that story, and what message is given. Okay, if we have to write this in a paragraph, but then if we have to write this in a paragraph, we will introduce, we'll write the main body, but what's the conclusion? The conclusion is very, very important. So we will see what conclusion it gives. We are going to write that two great epics. One was written 7,000 years ago. Another was written 4,000 years ago. One was written by Valmiki. Mahabharata was written by Vyasamuni. And Lord Rama was the hero, whereas in Mahabharata, Lord Krishna was the hero. Okay, and the female characters, you can name them, what took place at Lanka, whereas in Mahabharata, there was a furious battle that took place in Kurukshetra. The message both the epics give us is God wins. Now you can write this message as conclusion. Okay, what we learn, what is the outcome of this whole thing? That outcome and result is the conclusion. Okay, you're getting what I'm saying? So we have covered important aspects of this particular table that we have seen. So these are two great epics of India. Introduction, when they were written, okay, who were the poets of each, who were the heroes, who are the women characters of Ramayana and Mahabharata, and then where the war took place. Now, all in all, okay, with all this, all in all, what we have learned through these, that these epics tell us that goodness triumphs over evil. Triumphs means wins. Achhai ki burai ke upar jeet. Okay, goodness triumphs over evil. This is a message that they give, and this is the conclusion, because both of the books give one common message: goodness wins and goodness wins. So you can use them common for introduction. Okay, let's check another diagram. I hope everybody can see this diagram. This is a brick manufacturing process. म्हणजे विटा बनवून त्या फॅक्टरीमध्ये नेण्यापर्यंतच काय जी प्रोसेस असते, ईट जो बनाते हैं उसको वो कैसे बनती है और मैन्युफैक्चर कैसे होती है. So there is a digger. Okay, there is a digger here, and then that particular brick is put into metal grid sacha, and there is a sand and water which is put in the mold. Okay, and in this mold that particular batter is kept. मातीचं जे काही सारण येते ह्याच्यात टाकलं जातं, and then such kind of bricks are made. Okay, these bricks are cooled in the chamber. ते थंड केले जातात at a very cool temperature. Okay, temperature drops 870 to 1300 degrees Celsius, minus temperature, very, very cool. And then they are put in the drying oven for 24 to 48 hours to take out all the moisture from them, and then they are delivered. They are packed and they are delivered. Fine. So this is the process. So this particular diagram shows us brick manufacturing process. And then you can elaborate the stages 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. And then 7th, delivery stage is the 7th stage. Let's see how to write conclusion for this. So this given diagram explains the way in which bricks are made okay, for building industry. And it shows 7 stages in process, beginning with digging up the clay and culminating in delivery. Culminating means resulting. Right from digging up the clay, म्हणजे माती कशी गोळा करायची त्या विटेसाठी, ईट के लिए मिट्टी कैसे जमा की जाती है. Digging means खोदणे, right? So right from digging up the clay till making the final brick and sending it for the delivery. Culminating means result. Resulting it into delivery. What are the stages? So they have given this process in detail, which is the main body, based on the diagram, and they have given one-on-one process, how the bricks are made. Then they are put, it is mixed with sand and water, okay, and then it is put in the drying oven, and then it is kind of put in the in a refrigerator, deep freezer that has minus temperature. And finally the bricks are made and they are packed. So we have discussed all the processes, but what if we stop here? What if we stop here? It will still look very disconnected and kind of very abrupt, very disconnected if we stop here. So we have to conclude this. थोडक्यात आपण काय बघितलं, आपण विटा बनवण्याची प्रोसेस बघितली, हम लोग ने ईट कैसे बनाई जाती है देखा है, कौन कौन से स्टेजेस थे, 7 मेन स्टेजेस थे. So why can't we write one sentence and make it a complete look? Okay, conclusion gives completion to your writing. Overall, there are 7 stages in the process, beginning with digging up of clay and culminating in delivery. So right from digging up clay, you dig up for clay. Clay means मिट्टी. मिट्टी इकट्ठा करने के लिए आप क्या करते हो, उसको खुदाई करते हो, खोद काम करतो आपण. त्याच्यातनं माती मिळवतो, ती माती प्रोसेस करतो, भाजतो, त्याच्यानंतर त्याच्यापासून विटा बनवतो साच्यात टाकून, right, in the molds. And finally, when the brick is ready, we send them for the delivery. So this process includes 7 stages, starting from digging up clay, culminating in delivery, resulting into delivery. This conclusion is one line, but that is very important. Okay. Now, this is something that you should do on your own. This is very easy. I hope you will do it. This is a table that talks about pupils. Pupils mean students. Those who attend 4 different secondary schools. They attended it from the time span from the year 2000 and 2009. Okay, in span of 5 years. So how you will summarize the information? Okay, how many students attended specialized school in 2000? How many students in percentage? How many students attended community schools in 32? All in all, students attended, which schools were preferred the most by students? Okay, which school shows higher percentage of students coming in 2009, in 2005? This shows what is the liking of students. Students prefer going to which type of school? Okay, student prefer going to community school as in 2009. So people's preferences have changed. People prefer going to community school, whereas in 2005, people preferred putting their children into voluntary controlled schools because that was the highest percentage, 38%. Even in 2000, people preferred sending their children to voluntary controlled schools, which means voluntary control means they were not necessarily government schools. They were could be schools that were, that came up with a good cause, but they were running on donations and charity. Now people prefer sending their children, now that is in 2009, people prefer sending their children to community schools. This is a popular concept. How you will write introduction, how you'll write the main body, and how you will conclude. So I am done at my end. If you have questions, you may ask me, or else we can consider this session as done. Please ask me if you have any questions. Generally, such type of pieces of writing, you need to write in around 200 to 250 words, which is 25 lines. Such type of writing, when you are writing, okay, even in answers or even while you are interpreting the data, you should write it in around 25 lines, which becomes around 250 words. So I hope I have thrown light and I have given I have justified the kind of research that I have done and kind of been able to throw light upon the most important aspects. Of course, there are a number of other ways, uh, but because we have time constant, I thought that I could cover the most of them, the highlights, so that this reflects into your academic writing also, the writing skill, and you could easily pick up some easy tips and tricks, and that can reflect in your papers when your teachers check your papers while reading reports, essays, descriptive answers, discursive answers, like that. So, any queries? If you do not have any queries, then we can just conclude this session.